This is Jeremy Wellborn, and I'm in the garage with my 2020 Corvette, about to start the process of doing some paint correction. As I've gone over the car, there are some places where there's some, fine little marks from various things. I've not found a single nick or real scratch, but just really fine, light scratches over the surface of the vehicle. But the other thing that I've noticed is that there's some contaminants on top of the paint as well already. This car was produced on February 3rd. Today is March 22nd. So there's some contaminants on the surface of the paint, and I want to demonstrate where those are. So if you'll just listen carefully, you'll hear that as I rub my hand across the surface of the paint. I will say this, that once I have polished this, I'm not going to rub my hands across the surface of the paint because that tends to create more fine scratches. But listen to this as I do this at this time. I'm just lightly rubbing. All right, so first thing that I'm going to do, of course, is remove those contaminants with some Adams clay bar and some Adams detail spray. So we'll put some detail spray on the surface, and we will rub out this little part of the rear deck lid. Yeah, that's about all I'm going to have to do right there. I'm not rubbing hard, of course. Just cleaning off the contaminants. All right, I'm just going to take an Adams waterless wash towel, microfiber weave waterless wash towel. I'm going to wipe that area off so it's dry. So then I can now show you what the result of clay bar is. Dry my hand off really good here. I have dry fingers when I rub across here, just like I did when I did my first test. And now listen, okay. Contaminants are gone. I'm going to show you some of the just fine scratches that are in the paint. See if you can see them in there. And these are what we're going to be taking out of the car. We're going to do a two-stage paint correction on this 2020 Corvette, starting with the Adams Polishes 5.5-inch orange pad that we will use with the Adams paint correction polish, the correcting polish there, followed by the 5.5-inch white foam pad, which is softer, and Adams finishing polish. I think these have new names on Adams' website now, but the website would explain that to you, and the colors are coded for the particular polish in the pads. We're using two different brands of orbital buffers today. One of them is the Porter Cable for the 5.5-inch pads, and then when I get into the smaller places on the car that require a smaller pad, I've got an Adams swirl killer that I'm going to use that's the smaller size. First thing we're going to do is put a couple of drops of paint correction polish on the pad, and we're going to moisten it. You can see I've got 4 on there, and we're going to moisten it with the Adams detail spray. So we're going to put 1 spritz of detail spray on there. And when I'm first starting out, I really like to just take this and kind of spread it around a little bit. It's going to absorb, get into the pad as we go. But first time I kind of spread it around a little bit like that. Now, we're going to start this process on 1 on the dial so we don't splatter polish everywhere. But we're going to work it all the way up to 6 while we're polishing. And only going to put about 3 to 5 pounds of pressure on the polisher. So this is what this is going to look like. The next step is to take the Adams double plush microfiber towel and just lightly wipe off the residue. Get the residue off. I'm going to turn it over. We have our white finishing pad on here and our finishing polish right here. I'm going to add about 4 drops here again. It helps if you open the lid. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to spritz it with our Adams detail spray. And again, I'm going to kind of spread this out just a little bit on the pad. All right, and we're going to take that same spot that we worked earlier, work it over and see what kind of finish we have after we finish with the paint finishing polish. We're going to run it on 6 again as well. I'm going to turn it down to 1 and spread the polish. I was using about the same amount of pressure, 3 to 5 pounds. We're gonna do the same thing, wipe it off with the double plush microfiber towel and see what kind of result we have. So we're gonna do that to the entire vehicle today, get that finished up, and then get it ready for XPEL on the front end. I finished. I'm not sure how many hours I have in it, but I'm finished. With this stage anyway. What I've done is I've gone and clay barred the entire car this evening. I've also done paint correction with paint correcting polish and paint finish polish. Got all the little marks and swirls and whatnot out of the car. And I'm very, very pleased with the outcome and with the way things look now on the car. So I thought I'd just walk you around the car a little bit, talk about what I've done. I do want to say that the plant management has done a tremendous job getting this car to the level of fit and finish and paint quality that it is, and everything else too. Interior, engine, performance, all the things that they put together after GM and the Corvette team comes up with the plans for what this car is going to be. Just phenomenal. Kai Spandy is the plant director, does an amazing job, has led the charge with regard to the paint shop, the new paint shop, also the 2 shifts that are working and going to be working to build 2020 Corvettes, 2021 Corvettes in the near future. He's just led in so many different things, the retooling of the entire plant. He and Nora Roper, the assistant plant director, have just done a tremendous job. And so I want to just say thank you to them. And also Chuck Valentini, who is the paint shop manager, has done an incredible job as well, getting the paint quality to where it is today. So I want to thank them for that. But I do want to also say I've got a love-hate relationship with the Corvette team right now. Because having seen this car for the first time in July, July the 18th of 2019, noticed, of course, it's a phenomenal car. It's got amazing lines, hard edges, and it's just a fabulous new Corvette. That said, tonight's really the first time that I have noticed all of the hard edges that are on this car. Everywhere you go and everywhere you look on this car, there are hard edges. And lots of ridges, lots of valleys, which makes it a little challenging when you're doing paint correction, but it makes the car absolutely phenomenal, stands out in the crowd. It's beautiful. I'm going to already apologize for my non-polished tips. Didn't get to that tonight. It's really late. I'm ready to go to bed. But I wanted to just give you just a walk around of the car so you can see the paint finish and the paint quality. Everything lines up beautifully. All the panels line up beautifully on this car. I'm just really, really pleased with the paint finish and how this thing looks now. But you can see, you know, you've got like up there coming down from the B pillar, you've got those edges there, and even along the A pillar, we'll walk up here to the A pillar real quick. But even up here on the A pillar, I hadn't noticed this till tonight really, but you can see, if you look, that it's not a smooth curve to that A-pillar piece, that it's actually got another edge on it, as does the bottom down there. You can see that pretty well. But there are edges all over this car. And when you come down here, of course, you've got this edge that turns into two edges right there. And then there's multiple, I'm not sure how many there are. I was going to try to count them, but I gave up. I thought, that's ridiculous. But the car just looks absolutely fantastic. So I just want to say thanks to the Corvette team, thanks to the Bowling Green Assembly Plant for all the work that you've done to get us to this point. You guys are honestly incredible with the work that you're doing. I can't believe how amazing this car is, and that I own one, and was fortunate enough to be able to already take delivery at the National Corvette Museum. Mike Furman, thank you for allowing me to get that early deposit in and be able to configure this car, get the order in, and to just such a privilege to be able to own it. And just again, look at these edges. They're everywhere. Like I said, there's actually edges that I didn't realize the car had on it, and you saw on the front. That's going to be really fun to XPEL. That's the first thing that we're going to do next is XPEL it down in Dallas. The Dallas XPEL location there is going to be doing that. And we're going to do the front part of the car, and then we're going to just a ceramic coat from there back. Of course, there's some aero pieces. We'll put some paint correction, some XPEL on as well, just to protect it from rock chips. But anyways, that's what we got accomplished today. She is ready to rock and roll. Looking forward to take her out for a drive. And you guys all be safe out there. I know it's a difficult time for our country and for the world, but we're going to overcome that, and we'll all be out cruising in our Corvettes and enjoying life on the road again soon. So I hope everybody has a great week and stay healthy.